Hello everyone, this is Miss Sunday here, and today I'm going to talk to you about a project called Crochet Coral Reef. Coral reefs are often called the tropical rainforests of the sea for their astounding richness of life. Due to their structural complexity, corals are one of the most productive ecosystems on Earth, providing important services to mankind, including fisheries, coastal protection, medicine, recreation, and tourism. So here is some photos of the Crochet Coral Reef project. The Crochet Coral Reef is a project by Australian-born twin sisters Margaret Wertheim and Christine Wertheim and their Los Angeles-based Institute for Figuring. Responding to the anthropogenic crisis, the work simulates living reefs using techniques of crochet to mimic in yarn the curling, crenellated forms of actual reef organisms. So the reason why Margaret and Christine did this is they were drawing attention to the anthropogenic crisis that we call global warming. Here's a close-up of one of the sculptures. So this project travels around to different towns, and Margaret and Christine, they teach people in the community how to do these different kinds of knots and how to crochet and knit. And while they're teaching them and people are working on different areas of the parts of the sculpture, they are also educating them on global warming and the effect that it has on coral reefs. So here are some facts about coral reef. The Great Barrier Reef, that is the largest coral reef in the world, is made up of almost 3,000 smaller reefs and can be seen from outer space. And coral is a living animal. They are so colorful because of algae that live inside them and provide food for the coral. So what is happening is pollution and plastics are getting into the ocean, and they are attaching themselves, the pieces are attaching themselves to the coral, and it's killing the coral, and they are endangered. And when coral are unhealthy, something that happens to them is as they're unhealthy and they're dying, they lose their color, and this is called bleaching. So here's an example of what a coral would look like if it was bleaching. And this is a sculpture. It's made of all different pieces of crochet that was all attached to each other to create this like massive sculpture. And if you look very closely, these sculptures have other little found objects intertwined. So here's a picture. You can look on the part that's orange. Those are little bottle caps. There's also some cable ties tied in there, sometimes little pieces of plastic bag. And the reason why they were doing that is to show people that these are the things that are getting thrown into the ocean and intertwined and attaching themselves to the coral. Here's another picture of some examples of these sculptures. So I was lucky enough to be able to see this exhibit, and these sculptures are truly remarkable. And this is quite an amazing project that the Wertheim sisters have created. So corals and other frilly reef creatures are biological manifestations of hyperbolic geometry. Through an unlikely fusion of mathematics, marine biology, handicraft, and collective art practice, the Wertheims and their contributors produced large-scale coralline landscapes, both beautiful and blighted. At once figurative, fantastical, worldly, and dispersed, the Crochet Coral Reef offers a beautiful, impassioned response to dual calamities devastating marine life: climate change, and plastic trash. All right. So here are some websites that you can go to if you want to find out more about the Crochet Coral Reef Project. All right. And so your next step is to watch the demonstration on what we are going to be doing as our art project. And during the demonstration, I'm going to talk about subtractive textures. Subtractive textures involve actually carving into the clay to make patterns and designs. Now, the clay that you are using is different than the clay that we use in school, so it's a little harder to carve out. So instead, for your subtractive textures, you can actually press into the clay to make the texture. Another type of texture is additive texture. For this, you're just adding pieces of clay onto another piece of clay. All right, so next you can watch the clay demonstration and get started on your project.